Today, I will show you a problem that has plagued humankind for centuries. Most people live their entire lives trapped within the limits of ordinary thought, never realizing the true power of their own mind. You will learn not just to think, but to dominate your own intellect and wield it as a weapon that no rival, no competitor, no adversary can withstand. In every age, men have marveled at the genius, the man whose mind seems to move faster than any other, who sees outcomes before they occur. But what if I told you that genius is not born, it is awakened? That there is a method, a strategy, a hack, to unlock a level of intelligence that leaves even the greatest minds in history behind? You must understand one undeniable truth. The world has been deceived into believing that intelligence is a gift bestowed at birth, that some are simply geniuses while others are forever bound to mediocrity. This is a comforting lie, a soft tale that allows the masses to live in complacency. But the wise man, the one who seeks power over his life, recognizes this for what it truly is, a dangerous illusion. Those who cling to the idea that intelligence is fixed are like children wandering blindly into a battlefield, unaware that their own potential lies dormant, shackled by ignorance and laziness. Consider how often society praises those with natural talent, those whose minds appear effortlessly sharp. Men look upon the scholars, the inventors, the celebrated strategists, and whisper, they are born exceptional. Yet if we examine closely, we find that what separates these so-called prodigies from the rest is not mere birthright, but method, discipline, and the relentless pursuit of mastery over their own minds. These individuals have recognized the mechanisms of thought and learned to bend them to their will. They have discovered the laws that govern reasoning, perception, and judgment, and they have applied them ruthlessly. Now reflect on your own mind. How often do you accept information passively, believing that comprehension is identical to intelligence? How often do you follow the currents of conventional thought, repeating what is familiar, what is comfortable, what is praised by society, without questioning its merit or examining its foundation? Most men live their lives like this, prisoners of their assumptions, blind to the truth that intelligence is not measured by knowledge alone, but by the capacity to analyze, adapt, and act strategically upon that knowledge. The man who memorizes facts is not necessarily wise. The man who observes the world, interrogates it, and tests his own mind against the unpredictable flow of events is the one who will rise above all others. The illusion of ordinary intelligence is perpetuated by fear. Most men fear the effort required to sharpen the mind, to push it beyond its perceived limits. They fear being confronted by their own inadequacies, by the realization that their thoughts are often shallow, reactive, and unformed. This fear is what allows mediocrity to thrive. Men tell themselves, I am intelligent enough for my life, and in doing so, they surrender any claim to greatness. But the wise man knows that intelligence is not a static measure. It is a dynamic, malleable force, and those who understand how to cultivate it can achieve levels of insight far beyond what the world labels as genius. Observe history and the rise of men who have dominated nations, industries, or fields of knowledge. Were they born superior in intellect? Perhaps in part, but the true factor that distinguishes them is the cultivation of their mental faculties. They did not rely solely on natural talent. They scrutinized, they practiced, they devised frameworks of thought that allowed them to anticipate outcomes and manipulate circumstances with precision. This is the principle you must grasp. Intelligence, in its highest form, is not an inheritance. It is a weapon, and like all weapons, it must be forged with skill, tested with experience, and wielded without hesitation. Yet society will resist this truth. From childhood, you are trained to admire passive intelligence, the ability to recite, to conform, to appear clever without being strategic. Schools reward compliance more than insight, examinations reward rote memory more than critical analysis, and culture praises charm and wit more than depth of understanding. This is intentional. The masses are kept in a state of false confidence, believing they are wise when they are only comfortable, and comfort, above all, is the enemy of power. Those who remain comfortable never awaken the latent potential within their minds. They never learn to think in the multifaceted, ruthless ways that intelligence demands. It is here, in this very space of complacency, that you have your opportunity. To see the illusion of ordinary intelligence is to gain an advantage over the world. Recognize that the barriers to brilliance are largely self-imposed. They are the habits of thought you have allowed to dominate your mind, the assumptions you have never questioned, the laziness you have excused under the guise of being sensible or realistic. The truth is that most people's intelligence is shallow, not because they are incapable, but because they are unwilling to endure the discipline required to transcend mediocrity. They fear the rigor, the confrontation with uncertainty, the effort of sharpening their perception, reasoning, and judgment. If you wish to awaken a mind that surpasses all ordinary intelligence, you must first strip away these illusions. You must recognize that intelligence is not a spectator sport. It is not achieved by passive admiration or idle conversation. It is forged in the crucible of observation, reflection, and relentless practice. You must begin to see the world not as it appears to the complacent, but as it truly is, with its hidden currents, its subtle forces, its invisible patterns. To do so requires courage, for the mind that awakens to these truths is immediately alienated from the comfort of common understanding. You begin to perceive what others cannot, to anticipate what others ignore, and to act where others hesitate. This is the awakening of true intelligence, the intelligence that is feared, respected, and ultimately that which commands power. To awaken intelligence beyond what the world calls genius, one must understand that ordinary methods, reading books, attending lectures, repeating what others have done, are insufficient. They create the illusion of wisdom while leaving the mind trapped in mediocrity. The Machiavellian mind does not settle for imitation, it seeks transformation. The brain, like any instrument of power, can be trained, sharpened, and made to perform feats that appear supernatural to those who lack the discipline to master it. This is not speculation, it is strategy, a calculated method to elevate thought to a level that surpasses all ordinary men. The first principle of this transformation is observation. The mind must be trained to see what others cannot see. Not merely the obvious, the tangible, the written in plain sight, but the subtle, the hidden, the patterns that govern behavior, events, and consequences. Most men glance at the world and think they understand it, but they see only surfaces. They perceive facts but not connections, occurrences but not causes. To apply the Machiavellian brain hack, you must scrutinize reality relentlessly. Every interaction, every conversation, every movement in the world is data. Collect it, store it, analyze it. Understand the motives that drive men, the fears that manipulate them, the desires that enslave them. This is the beginning of strategic thought. Next comes simulation, the deliberate practice of thinking in scenarios. The mind must rehearse possibilities, anticipate actions, and calculate outcomes before reality imposes them. It is not enough to react. Genius lies in proaction. Imagine the consequences of every choice, every move of an adversary, every ripple your actions might create. The most powerful minds are not the fastest thinkers. They are the most prepared. They have considered possibilities that others cannot even imagine. This mental rehearsal rewires the brain to anticipate, to adapt, and to act with precision. The Machiavellian brain hack is not passive. It demands active engagement with the mechanics of thought, the manipulation of variables, and the orchestration of consequences. But observation and simulation alone are insufficient. One must cultivate ruthless discernment, the ability to filter information, to recognize truth amidst deception. The world is filled with lies, half-truths, and distractions designed to dull the intellect. Every story, every claim, every received opinion must be examined critically. What is the motive behind this information? Who benefits from it? How might it mislead you or ensnare you? The disciplined mind does not accept anything at face value. It weighs, tests, and challenges every assertion. By training yourself to see through deception, to distinguish substance from illusion, you prepare the mind to operate on a plane that ordinary men cannot reach. The third element of this brain hack is adaptation. Intelligence is often imagined as static, as if some are born with it and some are not. The Machiavellian mind knows this to be false. The brain is plastic, malleable, capable of growth and refinement at any stage. By engaging in complex problem-solving, exploring unfamiliar disciplines, and deliberately confronting situations that stretch cognitive limits, you force the mind to expand. Complexity becomes familiar, uncertainty becomes manageable, and creativity becomes a tool for influence and strategy. The mind that adapts in this way is dangerous. It is capable of insight that seems instinctive, even prophetic, to those who observe it. There is, however, a more subtle and powerful aspect of this method: self-deception as a tool. The ordinary man falls victim to his own illusions, blind to his weaknesses and overconfident in his abilities. The Machiavellian mind uses the understanding of self-deception deliberately. By recognizing your own cognitive biases, emotional triggers, and blind spots, you can manipulate them, using them to refine judgment and enhance mental performance. You learn to test your ideas rigorously, challenge your assumptions, and confront the discomfort of uncertainty. This internal discipline is the crucible in which extraordinary intelligence is forged. Finally, mastery of focus and mental energy is essential. The modern world is filled with distractions designed to fracture attention and diminish the capacity for deep thought. The brain, capable of transcending ordinary limits, is one that can concentrate relentlessly, that can immerse itself fully in problems, ideas, and strategies without yielding to fatigue or diversion. Mental energy, like a sword, must be directed deliberately. Every thought, every reflection, every rehearsal contributes to the shaping of a mind that does not merely react to circumstances, but shapes them to its will. In essence, this Machiavellian brain hack transforms intelligence from a passive trait into an active instrument of power. It is not enough to be clever, to memorize, or to imitate. One must see clearly, anticipate strategically, adapt relentlessly, discern ruthlessly, and control one's mental faculties with unyielding discipline. It is a system designed not for comfort, not for social approval, not for ordinary success, but for supremacy of mind. Those who employ it rise beyond their peers, not because they are born different, but because they are trained to think, perceive, and act on a level that ordinary men cannot even imagine. True intelligence is never an idle virtue. It is not a trait admired for its own sake, nor is it a quality that merely impresses the uninformed. Intelligence, in its highest form, is power. To possess the ability to perceive the world with clarity, to anticipate the actions of men, to manipulate circumstances and outcomes, is to wield an instrument more potent than armies or gold. Those who misunderstand this mistake cleverness for accomplishment, insight for virtue. The Machiavellian mind recognizes that intelligence, when properly harnessed, is the ultimate weapon. It is the force that can shape nations, topple rivals, and command loyalty without the need for coercion. Observe how ordinary men approach knowledge. They learn, they memorize, they recite, and they believe themselves accomplished. They cling to the illusion that understanding facts equates to dominion over life. But the Machiavellian knows better. Knowledge, without the application of strategy and foresight, is harmless. A library of facts will not intimidate a cunning opponent, nor will brilliant insight alone secure survival or power. Intelligence becomes dangerous, formidable, and absolute only when it is applied. To perceive the threads that connect men, motives, and events is to hold a map of influence that few others can navigate. This is why intelligence is inseparable from power. It grants the ability to see beyond appearances and act with deliberate effect. Consider the mind of the strategist, the statesman, the commander. He does not act blindly, nor does he rely on the whim of fortune. He observes patterns, predicts consequences, and executes actions with precision. Every move is calculated, Every decision is informed by the architecture of reality itself. This is the intelligence that commands respect, that inspires loyalty, and that engenders fear. It is a force that functions not through volume or violence, but through the unseen leverage of comprehension. To think strategically is to possess power before a single action is taken, for those who cannot see the full pattern of events are already at a disadvantage. Intelligence, as power, also requires the mastery of timing. Knowledge without timing is impotent. The sharpest insight executed too soon or too late loses all its value. A Machiavellian mind understands the rhythm of events, the subtle currents that precede change, and the signs that reveal the moment to act decisively. To wield intelligence effectively, one must develop a sense of temporal precision, knowing when to speak and when to remain silent, when to strike and when to wait, when to maneuver subtly and when to dominate openly. This temporal mastery amplifies the raw capacity of intelligence, transforming understanding into influence and influence into control. The manipulation of men is another domain where intelligence becomes power. Those who fail to recognize the connection between intellect and authority are easily led by passion, emotion, or fear. A mind capable of discerning desires, weaknesses, and motivations can guide others as if orchestrating a symphony, turning rivals into instruments and allies into extensions of its will. To control outcomes without overt force, to bend circumstances to one's purpose, requires the application of intelligence in its most subtle and effective form. The ordinary man acts on impulse, constrained by reaction. The Machiavellian acts from insight, guided by foresight, and unchallenged because few comprehend the full scope of the mental mastery at work. Furthermore, intelligence as power is not static. It is dynamic, evolving with each challenge and confrontation. The mind that is capable of analyzing, adapting, and executing superior strategies continuously expands its dominion. Every victory, every lesson learned, every error corrected enhances the potency of thought, creating a compounding effect that places the intelligent beyond the reach of ordinary rivals. While others repeat mistakes or rely on conventional wisdom, the Machiavellian mind integrates experience with theory, observation with action, creating a self-reinforcing cycle of intellectual supremacy. Emotional discipline is inseparable from this power. A mind that is brilliant but enslaved by passion, vanity, or fear is vulnerable. To wield intelligence as power, one must regulate the internal landscape as rigorously as the external. Clarity of thought demands clarity of emotion, the ability to remain detached, to observe without bias, to calculate without being compromised by desire, fear, or prejudice, amplifies the effectiveness of intelligence. Here again, the ordinary man falters, allowing emotion to cloud judgment, while the Machiavellian manipulates both thought and feeling as instruments of strategy. Finally, the ultimate expression of intelligence as power lies in foresight and inevitability, the mind that perceives what others cannot, that anticipates actions before they occur, that adapts to every contingency, creates a sense of inevitability. Those around it act as though compelled, even when they believe themselves free. To appear inevitable is to be invincible. Intelligence, when exercised with discipline, observation, timing, and emotional mastery, becomes a silent dominion over the world, a dominion that requires no army, no decree, no threat. It is the unseen hand, the quiet force, the invisible architecture that shapes outcomes and commands reality itself. Now that you understand the truth, intelligence is not a gift, but a weapon, and power belongs to those who master it. The question arises, how does one awaken this latent genius that slumbers within? How does one transform potential into supremacy of mind? The answer lies not in wishful thinking or idle study, but in deliberate, calculated action. The Machiavellian mind does not wait for opportunity, it creates it, cultivates it, and exploits it with precision. Every action you take must be designed to sharpen, refine, and expand the capabilities of your intellect. The first step is the ruthless elimination of mental weakness. Identify every habit, every belief, every thought pattern that limits your perception or clouds your judgment. Ordinary men cling to comfort, to familiar ideas, to unquestioned assumptions. They allow laziness, fear, and emotion to dictate the boundaries of their intellect. To awaken genius, you must do the opposite. Examine your own mind with the scrutiny of a conqueror assessing a city to besiege. What are your blind spots? What knowledge have you ignored? Which impulses mislead your decisions? Confront these weaknesses with unflinching honesty, for the mind that refuses to acknowledge its own limitations will never transcend them. Next, immerse yourself in complexity. The Machiavellian mind thrives on challenges that would paralyze ordinary thinkers. Do not shy away from difficult problems or unfamiliar disciplines. The world's most powerful intellects did not rise through comfort. They rose by engaging with the intricate, the abstract, and the chaotic. Seek problems that stretch your reasoning, that demand the synthesis of knowledge across domains, that force you to think strategically and adaptively. Through this, your brain begins to rewire itself, creating new pathways for insight, pattern recognition, and rapid analysis. Complexity is the crucible in which genius is forged, and the more you immerse yourself, the sharper your mind becomes. Observation must be continuous and deliberate. Train yourself to notice not just the obvious, but the subtle currents that guide behavior and events. Observe human motives, social dynamics, market shifts, political movements, and the consequences of decision-making. Every conversation, every interaction, every scenario is a laboratory for your intellect. Record, reflect, and analyze relentlessly. Do not accept events at face value. Uncover the hidden forces, the underlying incentives, the unspoken fears and desires. This habitual scrutiny allows you to anticipate actions before they happen, to predict consequences before they unfold, and to maneuver with the precision of a master strategist. Simulation and mental rehearsal are equally essential. The mind of genius practices like a general commanding an army before a battle. Imagine scenarios, rehearse decisions, calculate outcomes, consider the ripple effects of your actions in every dimension, anticipate the reactions of others, and explore the consequences of choices that ordinary men never contemplate. This is not fantasy, it is the training of foresight. The Machiavellian brain becomes an instrument capable of anticipating reality, testing strategies before execution, and adapting dynamically to any situation. Through repeated rehearsal, the mind internalizes patterns of cause and effect, creating an instinctive clarity that seems preternatural to those who have not undertaken the same discipline. Critical self-questioning is a habit you must cultivate. Do not accept your own conclusions without scrutiny. Every belief, every plan, every insight must be examined, challenged, and tested. Seek the cracks in your reasoning, the vulnerabilities in your understanding, and the assumptions you have taken for granted. This relentless interrogation of your own intellect ensures that your decisions are based on clarity rather than illusion, on strategy rather than impulse. Ordinary men are satisfied with surface-level reasoning. The Machiavellian demands depth, consistency, and resilience in thought. Control of mental energy is another crucial step. Intelligence is not merely the accumulation of knowledge, it is the capacity to apply thought with precision and intensity. In a world saturated with distractions, only the disciplined mind can focus relentlessly on the problem at hand. Train your mind to resist fragmentation, to immerse itself fully in tasks, and to channel its energy toward meaningful analysis and action. The ability to concentrate deeply, to think critically under pressure, and to maintain clarity of thought amid chaos is a hallmark of superior intellect. Finally, integrate learning with action. Knowledge untested is a seed that never grows. Intelligence unexercised is power unused. Apply what you learn strategically, observing the outcomes, adjusting your approach, and refining your understanding. Test theories against reality. Experiment with ideas, and measure the effects of decisions. Every failure becomes a lesson, every success a tool to expand your mastery. The mind that links observation, rehearsal, critical analysis, and action awakens fully, transcending ordinary limitations and achieving a level of intelligence that operates as both sword and shield, guide and command. You have seen the truth that few dare to admit. Intelligence is not a gift, it is a weapon. The world has deceived you into believing that genius is born, that power belongs to the fortunate, that ordinary men are destined to remain ordinary. But now you understand the reality. You know that the barriers to extraordinary intellect are not imposed by nature. They are imposed by habit, fear, and inaction. You have been shown the path, the recognition of the illusion of ordinary intelligence, the disciplined application of the Machiavellian brain hack, the understanding that intelligence is power, and the deliberate steps necessary to awaken your latent genius. Every insight you have absorbed is a tool, every principle a blade sharpened for action. The minds of ordinary men will falter, constrained by complacency and convention, while yours will expand, adapt, and dominate. You have the power to anticipate, to strategize, to manipulate reality with the precision of a master tactician. Knowledge alone is worthless. Strategy alone is empty. Insight alone is fragile. But when fused with discipline, foresight, and ruthless application, intelligence becomes the ultimate dominion. Understand this above all else. Those who master their minds do not wait for opportunity. They create it, they seize it, and they control it. The world will continue to praise those born with talent, to exalt those who follow tradition, to celebrate mediocrity masked as brilliance. But you will move beyond all of it. Your mind will become a weapon, a force of inevitability, a power that shapes outcomes before they occur. The question now is not whether you can achieve this, but whether you will. The principles are laid bare, the method is revealed, and the path is open. The world will not hand you this power. You must claim it with discipline, strategy, and relentless ambition. Your intellect is no longer dormant. It is awakened, sharpened, and ready to dominate. You now stand on the precipice of extraordinary thought, a level of intelligence far beyond any genius alive, and the choice is yours, to remain ordinary or to rise above all men, unchallenged, unyielding, and unstoppable.